True leadership is bringing everybody together, putting together a plan collectively, and then moving on with that plan. And actually, that's so much better than just losing your marbles. But you get to decide what that success is. Fulfilling virtuous life regardless of external success. So you get to define what success is for you. And if you're in a business with lots of people, you collectively decide what success is, and you all work together to live that. And in modern times, that's known as creating a culture. And a culture is based on good values, on understanding what you can and can't control. And therefore, culture, which is seen as this big, passionate thing that everybody's going to do, has its basis in Stoicism. So let's go through some of the great Stoic quotes that have been generated during the classical period, and let's try and apply them using specific examples from either my business or generically within people that I've worked with to see how we can apply these philosophical ideas to our own business. So, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This is a quote from Seneca, who is one of the big three Stoic philosophers. One of the great quotes that I use all the time, even though I'm not a huge fan of Harry Potter, is from Newt Scamander. He says, people who worry suffer twice. Once while you're worrying, and then if it does happen in the future, once it happens again. So you suffer twice. Suffering in business is something that happens every day on different levels. I don't know how to get out of this. Everything is terrible. I don't know how out of this. Happens in business all the time, okay? It can happen on a really small level. It can happen on a really big level. But actually, what's much better is I'm going to take some time, okay? And I'm going to suffer, okay? But I'm going to make sure that it's imagined, okay? So I'm going to suffer. I'm going to think of the worst possible things that are going to happen. I'm going to think about how terrible everything is going. And I'm going to set myself a timer, okay? So I can suffer for a fixed period of time. But once that timer ends, once I'm done suffering, I am going to suffer no more. And I'm going to put in a collective plan for my business that will decide how I move forward. Because if you are suffering and you're worrying and you're anxious, you're not doing anything positive. And what Stoicism says is understand what suffering is, but don't do it constantly. It's because, A, it's probably not going to be real in the way that you see it. We're very good at working out what the worst case scenario is. So if we can get the worst that could happen, what's the best that could happen, let's write it all down. Let's look at all of those options and let's plan how we get out of that. The next time we come to suffer through our business, we won a big bid and now we don't know how to do it. We know that we have a good strategy and a good plan and a good set of ethics and philosophies that say, yes, let's think about it. Let's write it all down, but let's not do it so that we suffer. Let's do it so that we know. So we know all the different options that we have available to us, and we know what the best one is because we've thought about it all. And what you've done there is you've switched suffering to strategy. Because what strategy is thinking about all the outcomes passively without getting too involved emotionally, an objective assessment of the situation, and then a plan to move forward. That is converted using these principles from a place where you are suffering to a place where you are strategizing. And that is a way to deliver genuine, regular business success. So, it's not what happens to you, but it's how you react to it that matters. Having an assessment of what it is that you feel bad about. Let's take an example. So I regularly deliver talks. And I used to get quite nervous about delivering talks. Sometimes, strangely, the more people in the room, the less anxious I would be. And actually, people would say the standard things that people say, which is picture people naked, terrible idea, look at the back of the room, or engage with a single person. And these are all really good. But actually, what's useful is to say, what is the best possible way that I can deliver success in this particular situation? How can I put myself in a mindset where I can say, my job here is to educate. My job here is to present. My job here is to do my best. Rather than worrying about what other people are thinking about me and what I need to do is turn around and say, I'm going to give my best shot. I'm going to assume that this is going to work.